I personally believe, Allahu A'lam, that we must make our vote based on critical and in-depth investigation. We need to meet the candidate, listen to them, read their background, their agenda, their program. And therefore I say, well, I feel that, for example, the Democratic candidate is a better choice. No choice is a perfect choice. We know that. Even in the Muslim society or Muslim state, there's no perfect choice. But I believe this person will, voting for him will help achieving his goals and program, which I believe is very appealing. So, I mean, we have a good experience in 2000 election, if you recall, the presidential election in 2000, when all Muslims, the majority of Muslims at that time voted for George Bush, and turned out it was not a very good choice. This is not to say Al Gore at that time was the best choice, but I remember at that time people said, you know what, you don't vote at all. Others said, no, we should vote. I believe we should study, we should do our job, we should do our homework, we need to meet the candidates if possible, and we need to read their biography, their background, and their programs that they are going to apply if elected. And based on all this information, we take the decision. Sometimes we like the easy choice. You know, don't vote, that's easy, enjoy Saturday or Tuesday afternoon. Or we have to do some investigation, to do some homework. And this is what organizations like CAIR and others, they are trying to give us some understanding of what these candidates are standing for.
Now we have with us Sohail Khan, and Sohail has been kind enough to fly out here from DC in his very busy schedule. He is a leading Republican strategist. I think he may disagree about the 2000 vote, but we'll let him talk about it. But Sohail really is. I mean, forget about leading Muslim Republican strategist. He is a leading Republican strategist. He's currently a fellow at for Muslim Christian Understanding at the Institute for Global Engagement, and Sohail's held a senior position in the Bush administration previously. He has a law degree from the University of Iowa, and his BA was from Berkeley. Sohail has been involved since his days at with Tom Campbell, who was a representative from Northern California. And I'm sure he's going to share some of the stories that he learned from there. They were very interesting. He shared them yesterday. He became his policy director, which is actually, it's not some type of throwaway position, it's a very high-level position. He was his policy director and press secretary. So again, a high-level position, and he understands the inner workings of Congress and its representatives. Sohail's made multiple appearances. If you turn on the TV, he will be one of the people that you don't cringe at, where you wish that person wasn't up there representing me. I think most will agree when they see Sohail, they say thank you. That this is somebody who is articulate and presents himself well. And he's appeared on all the major networks, CNN, MSNBC, whatnot, Al Jazeera, all different networks, and also in publications. He's also written many different articles, actually a very interesting article in Foreign Policy magazine, which was a very good article. You should check that out, look at that. And he was actually awarded at CPAC, which is the Conservative Political Action Committee, something of that sort, but it's the leading conference for conservatives. And he was actually given an award there, the Buckley Award. And I think, inshallah, he can tell you more about that. But in this, so he's very well recognized, and he has a lot of influence within those quarters. And so he just recently came back from a trip to Dachau and Auschwitz with several other leaders, Muslim leaders, imams as well as other leaders. They went and visited those sites and came back and issued a statement on anti-Semitism. And this was people across the aisle. It was both Democrats and Republicans. So without further ado, I'm going to let Sohail come up and talk about effective lobbying and inclusion, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you for the introduction. And I really want to thank everybody for coming out this morning. I know you have a lot of things competing for your time on the weekend, especially on a big game day like today. So I'm really appreciative to you here in Michigan, to be in Canton, and especially to CAIR. I want to thank Brother Harris and Dr. Rizumbo, I think he's coming back in a little bit, and of course Rahim, who's managing everything from the back there, for organizing this great event. And I'm really appreciative that I have this opportunity to share some time with you. What I thought I would do is share a little bit about my experience and my background. And some of you heard some of this last night, so I won't try to repeat some of the message, but maybe and then specifically talk about the topic in the program about effective lobbying and how Muslim Americans can be an effective voice in our political system for the good, for the better. As the Imam so ably articulated, that we as Muslims are meant to be a blessing on mankind, and specifically that we are meant to voice and to take action when there is something good and to promote that, and when there is something evil, when there is something wrong, to voice our opposition to that. And we know right now that the least of faith, of course, is for us as Muslims to really hate evil in our hearts, but really as Americans, as Muslims, we have a unique opportunity to really take action as we are instructed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to voice our concerns and to promote what is good and to really speak out against what is wrong in our society, whether it's here in Michigan or in our country or indeed abroad in various other countries around the world. And it's very special that as Americans we have that ability, that we're blessed with that ability, and as Americans we live in a country that has an effect for better or for worse, but oftentimes for better, on other people around the world. And as we as American Muslims have that unique, not only opportunity, but I would argue, as was articulated by the Imam, the responsibility that we take action, So I'll just tell you a little bit about myself, and then we can talk about the specific topic, and then I want to really, last night was any indication, everybody has questions, and I want to give enough time so we don't interrupt the questions before we go on to the next speaker. But basically, I'm just like a lot of Muslims, in the United States. My parents were immigrants who came here for opportunity, came to Wyoming and Colorado, and I decided early on that law school would be the course of action, because I felt that the legal field was one that can help really serve the Muslim community and the community at large. That I grew up on a lot of TV, and I watched a lot of Perry Mason, and back then the show was LA Law, where I saw these attorneys that were really making a difference in the courtroom. And when I saw that the Muslim community did not have a voice, because at that time when I was growing up, we didn't have any Muslim elected officials, although we have one here today, but we didn't have any Muslim elected officials. We didn't have any in the law at that point when I was considering career options. And we were mostly professionals. And I felt at that point that it was important that the Muslim community have advocates, that we develop advocates who could articulate our concerns, that could, when necessary, could articulate on behalf of those who didn't have a voice. And I felt that the legal system was one where anybody could go and represent their client and make their case heard, and that there would be, ideally, a fair system whereby that decision would be made. And as I learned in law school, and I really began to feel that the political system, that a lawyer could make a difference for his or her client, and that's important. But I felt in some cases the laws might be the problem, and that it may be even better for myself as an American, as a Muslim, to actually go to the place where laws are being made. And I thought that meant Capitol Hill. So as Horace described, I served on Capitol Hill for my hometown congressman, a gentleman named Tom Campbell from the Bay Area. The Bay Area, as many of you might know, who have visited or at least read about it, is Silicon Valley, so it's a very well-educated area. A lot of people from not only all over California, but all over the world come there to start businesses, to really promote their ideas. About half of the high-tech industry in the Bay Area was started by immigrants from various countries. Your Googles, your Yahoos, your eBays were started by people from other countries who thought they had an idea.